All right, guys. Thank you for joining me today or this night tonight. Appreciate it as always. All right, let's get these 5x5s out of the way. First, sorry, Little John, thank you for the 5x5. First, last, thank you for the 5x5. Dan Phillips, Buffalo, thank you for the 5x5. Ozark, Mr. Landfill, Evolving Media, Sarita, Patrick, Don, Flown Dobie, thank you for the 5x5. Maria, Joseph, Greg Giorgio, sorry, thank you for the 5x5. Groundhog, Eric, WTC, Rhonda, Lee, Mabel, thank you for the 5x5. Coffee, Nomads, Let's Go, Krista, Lexi, Ryan, thank you for the 5x5. 1 second after, Wody, Little John, Tony, Lori, thank you for the 5x5. Houdini, Joe, Boar, MS Coast, Craig, Ken, Lexi, sorry, Blue Moon, thank you for the 5x5. Valley, Moose, and Stacy, thank you for the 5x5. Prep to Adapt, Maria, and Joe 59, thank you for the 5x5 on Rumble. Appreciate it. First, the partial building collapse was in the Bronx, not Brooklyn. It was interesting. It was a nice. It was a old incinerator shaft that collapsed, and it was due to a gas buildup in the shaft, and it exploded. I have some video I can show you guys what it looks like. But yeah, Bad Botter, thank you for the 5x5. Martha, thank you for the 5x5. Smoke and Swamp, thank you for the 5x5. And Lisa Pratt is asking what the 5x5 means. It just means loud and clear. The short of it, loud and clear. But yeah, it was a building collapse. It wasn't anything. It wasn't anything too bad. I tell you this much: people got really lucky though. Had kids been walking through there, or a bunch of kids been walking through there, we would have had some casualties and a lot of injuries. Raccoon, Rip Crow, Craig, thank you for the 5x5. Night Watch, Rhonda, you guys explain what the 5x5 is. Thank you. First and last, thank you for the Jew by Jew. All right. So, obviously, tonight, guys, we're talking about the not so much a bad feeling, though. Yeah, something dangerously off with this world. I think we're in some kind of a point in time, man, in on this planet that things are off and things are weird, and the behavior of people are seemingly getting worse. I read a couple stories this week, and I'm just like, what is going on? Now, yes, the arm ticket is definitely the blame, but I mean, like, at what point does it wear off, if it wears off at all? This is just insanity, if I ever seen it. I never seen anything like it. Sorry, trying to fix this at the last minute. Oh, Thomas 101, thank you for the 5x5 on Rumble. Appreciate it. Right? Bass Bunny, thank you for the 5x5. Bayshore, thank you for the 5x5. So, yeah, we're definitely watching some interesting shit go on. And this nonsense that's going on just around the world is insane. Crackheads or drug addicts, if you will, are running rampant here in New York City. It's starting to look like, what's that place in Philly? Over in PA, or rather in Philly. I forgot the name of it. One of you guys are going to put it there. It's starting to look like that. Raccoon Eyes, thank you for the 5x5 on Rumble. It's starting to look like that. Not that it's going to, it's starting to look like that. It's just getting bad. People and their behavior, like, people are doing things that doesn't make sense. Like, they're committing crimes and they're going to get caught. I don't understand. Kensington, thank you guys. And they're going to get caught. And I'm baffled by this. Like, just the what I'm hearing and what I'm reading, and some of these events, if you will, or situations or instances are going down in front of people and cameras. And there's no wiggle room to, like, oh, well, it was an accident. Not at all. People, driving their cars into other people's cars out of like road rage. You got people throwing kids into, uh, you know, alligator infested waters, throwing kids into lakes, just throwing them off of bridges like they're nothing, like, you know, flinging them like they're just toys, taking people out because they're in love with somebody and their love is so strong that if I can't live with them, they're not going to live without me, you know, and then like, I don't know, mass shootings are up. You know, I mean, like legit mass shootings, not like the gang violence that you hear. You hear 5 guys get popped, and they're like, "Oh, mass shooting." No, let's stop it. That's gang violence. There's 2 different things. But let the government try to make you believe that this nonsense we're seeing is all of gang violence. I mean, it's not gang violence. That's mass shootings. Gangs are going at it like left and right, man. Rhonda's talking about. Oh, you're talking about the what's her name? We're gonna talk about her later. We're gonna talk about Erica Kirk later on the Angry Truth channel, because man, there's a lot that I have to say about her and Candace Owens. I'm releasing a video of Candace Owens versus um, Candace Owens versus Erica Kirk on Rumble. I didn't see it on Rumble. I'll pull it up now. Okay, that was the wrong one, I guess. That Republican staffer set herself on fire at home with gasoline. I didn't. Thomas 101. I didn't hear that. When did that happen? I didn't hear that at all. And then Rhonda message was old. All right. But yes, I am doing. I am releasing a video on Candace Owens versus Erica Kirk. Excuse me. I don't know why I want to say Erica Clark, but anyway, Erica Kirk. I am doing a video on that and just the comparing the behaviors of one another. So that video for tomorrow day should be at the very least interesting to you guys. At least I hope it's interesting to you guys. Bill, it doesn't matter if Kirk is a distraction. It's something. Listen, not everything can be a distraction. Some things are what it is, and some things are straight up like a signal, if you will, or a sign of the times, right? Charlie Kirk getting killed wasn't a distraction. Not everything can be a distraction, guys. What could be a distraction is shit like this meteor. Is it an alien vehicle or is it an actual comet? Like, who knows? You know, there's a lot of things that the media is not saying, and there are other things that YouTubers are saying that are driving up the drama of that comet. Either way, I'm ready for it to pass by us. I'm ready for 50-foot Rosie O'Donnells to walk off talking about how hungry they are. Either way, I'm ready for it. But there are a lot of anomalies with this comet, is why this comet is getting so much attention, right? But we have to wait and see what that's going to look like down the line. Again, not worried about it at all. Oh, it was a Tony Gonzalez staffer burned to death after dousing herself with gasoline and setting herself ablaze. I'm telling you right now, guys, this kind of stuff that's going on, government shutdown is probably a distraction. Again, the comet or the what is it, 3-eye atlas going through our solar system, that could be a distraction. But shit like Charlie Kirk is not a distraction. They're trying to distract us away from that because of the people who are involved and connected to it. Israel. They are absolutely, undoubtedly. And now Candace Owens is throwing that out there. Candace Owens, I thought, before I made the video, when I was doing the research, I'm like, I haven't heard her say anything about what was happening or what's going on in regards to the investigation of Charlie Kirk. With that, today, she drops the hammer. And I'm like, uh-oh, she's on the right track. So I do have a couple of videos. Tonight's video is Candace Owens' life in danger. Tomorrow's video is Candace Owens versus Erica Kirk, and a comparison on how they react, or how they're reacting to Charlie's death, right? And a lot of people think that Erica Kirk's behavior is odd. And yes, there are certain coping mechanisms, but she's not hitting any of that. Let's see where this article goes. All right. So Texas Rep. Tony Gonzalez staffer burns to death after dousing herself in gasoline. Why did she do it? I'd like to know. But anyway, a staffer of U.S. Representative Tony Gonzalez, Republican Texan, who burnt to death in her backyard, set herself on fire with gasoline, according to firefighters, but her family still insisted it was an accident. Regina Santos Aviles doused herself in gasoline in Uvalde on September 13th. That was a few weeks ago. Why am I just hearing about this now? And this article was posted September 30th. Anyway, doused herself in gasoline, according to reports of responding firefighters obtained by the Uvalde Leader News. A 35-year-old mother then was ignited in flames, the report said, adding that the burning gasoline can was extinguished after firefighters arrived. Unless she was smoking a cigarette, that is hard to do, right? To set yourself on fire with gasoline. And if she was engulfed in flames, she had to have doused herself. Like, what is the chances? Like, she doused herself, she fell over, spilled gasoline on herself. Her, 1,000 carat diamond happened to like hit a rock and cause a spark, and then she, like the chances of that are like non-existent. Anyway, officials did not say whether she deliberately started the fatal blaze, but Uvalde Police Department said it does not suspect anybody else was involved in her death or that there was any foul play. She's a pretty hot chick, too, with giant fucking ears. Anyway, Santos was found alive and still ablaze by her own mother. Wow. Around 9:30 p.m. that night, and was heliported to the nearby hospital despite reported apparent self-immolation. Her family remains adamant that whatever happened was accidental. Her last word was "I don't want to die." So maybe it was an accident. But then again, people have gone through suicide attempts, and after they attempted, they immediately regretted that action. And it's a high percentage of, if not all of them, not all, it's a high percentage, it's somewhere in the 90s, that anybody who tries to commit suicide and fails, they rarely repeat it again because they realize, shit, I almost bit it, I almost died. And they find value in life after they miss their mark, if you will. So Santos was alone when the fire started. Home surveillance footage obtained by investigators showed. A mother of an 8-year-old boy, Santos was remembered as being full of life, devoted, bettering her Texas community. Full of life. Everybody's full of life and an angel when they die. Isn't that some shit? Everybody's always like, oh my God, there was such an enjoyment to life. And I'm like, everybody that dies, their eulogy is like, they were a shining light and a star in my life, and they, whatever. She loved life, and yeah, whatever. She loved her work, okay, whatever. Santos started working in Gonzalez's office as a regional district director in 2021. The investigation into her death remains ongoing. Interesting. And law enforcement could be weeks until a final report from the medical examiner is ready. I find that part to be odd. If it was self-inflicted, they would have known already. And it does take a little while to get medical examiner reports. Believe me, I know. It's a pain in the ass to get. They act like they're holding the key to the universe when you ask them for that shit. But anyway, but they said that they're still investigating. I think they're trying to look at that video to see whether or not she doused herself. Because if the video is in the backyard or the camera's in the backyard, she should be able to see it. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. So I have a phobia of dying. Yeah, right. A lot of people like, if all of a sudden I end up missing or die of a massive heart attack, guess who got me? Right, Israel. No, I'm not. I'm like the last person to worry about. But listen, man, this whole Israeli Palestinian thing, people keep asking me. I'm like, yo, I don't care about either side. I really don't. People like, oh, you're left leaning because you're supporting Palestine. I'm like, no, I'm not. Palestine could fall off the face of this planet with Israel attached to it. I don't care. I really don't give a shit. Everybody's trying to make a case for Palestine. Like, look at them. They're poor. Oh, poor me. I'm like, fuck them. You know, I really don't care. Bronx building today. Gas leak. That was yesterday, maybe so, and it was. It was gas that built up in a shaft and it blew off. I have a video, but I'm not sure if it's going to screw up my channel. I'll put it up and see if I can get away with it. Well, you know what? We'll start with the photo, and we'll work from there. Right? But I got a photo of the building, and again, it was an empty incinerator shaft that was closed off that they didn't use anymore, and yeah, the what you call it built up, and then we had that fucking big to do. So that's part of the shaft. As you can see, that's the ground floor. That's most of the bricks. Bricks were actually spread, if I'm not mistaken, 50, 60 feet away from that wall. Again, that was an old incinerator that they stopped using because we don't use incinerators anymore. Um, so that's what it looked like for the most part. And that outer wall on the right-hand side, that wall they have to take down because it's probably going to come down in the next like windstorm or heavy rain or whatever it is. I will probably do an updated photo in the next coming weeks. If I happen to pass by it, I'll stop by and I'll take a photo of what it looks like now. But everybody was there. Everybody was there. That's the craziness about it. I mean, everybody showed up. Sanitation was there. MTA. I'm like, what are you directing buses? I was like, it was just everybody. Garbage men was standing around, I guess, waiting to throw some garbage away. It was everybody was there. Con Ed, you name it. Fuck, I was surprised. Fucking, Trump didn't stop by. There were so many fucking people there. It was, whatever. But this is what the damage looked like. And again, got lucky that kids weren't walking by going to school because this could have been a lot worse. Now, this area where you see the rubble at the bottom of the screen, that was all inside of a fenced-off construction site. So there wasn't a lot of, damage to kids. But the bricks that flew over the fence, that would have hit some kids in the head or just hit them in general, and it would have gotten hurt. So as far as I know, no one got hurt, and there were no fatalities. That was for sure. No one got hurt from the last time I checked, and that was yesterday. But yeah, lucky that it just took out that wall and it didn't take out the apartment line right next to it, because that would have been way worse. Had that apartment line right next to it, which you guys can see is marked G. That's the G line. If that shit would have came down, I would probably still be there, or we would still be there operating at the scene. I'm not sure if we're operating at that scene anymore. I think housing has it for now. But anyway, yeah, that's what that's a day in the life of a no, and shit like this doesn't happen all the time, right? This stuff is rare. It doesn't happen all the time. It does keep us on our toes. OG, Angryprepper at yahoo.com if you're going to send me any kind of links and stuff like that. By all means. But someone's asking, am I cool with Canadian Prepper again? No, not really. Listen, I don't even listen to the guy. I don't know what he's up to. It is what it is. Yeah, Flown Grown. It was built when the building was built, and I think that building was built in the 70s, not the 40s, the 70s. Those projects were put up in the late 60s, early 70s, right? So yeah. Anyway, that's what that nonsense looked like. And again, everybody was fucking. They had a bomb sniffing dog. The drone units, the nerd unit came in with their drone buzzing in, fucking. Let's look at this damage. This chick with a dog. The bomb unit was there. NYPD bomb unit was there. I mean, everybody was there. It was just like, what in the actual fuck? After everybody figured out that it was gas, I thought half the people would have taken up, but they didn't. So that was pretty much it. You know, it was a hurry up and wait. We got there and we were like, yo, yeah, you know, and then nothing, you know, whatever. Yes, people still use Yahoo, my friend. Yo, it's better than using Hotmail. People still use that shit. That's psychopathic shit. Silent Guard, Angryprepper is one of the most toxic prepper channels. No shit, is he? I wouldn't have gone that far. I mean, I don't like him for certain reasons, but I don't. Wouldn't, I guess you can call him. I don't know. I wouldn't. I wouldn't gauge. I would have gauged him as an asshole channel, not a toxic. That's kind of strong. Like a toxic channel would be not even maybe full spectrum survival. No, not even him. I wouldn't even call him toxic. I just like an asshole channel. But yeah, there was a couple toxic channels. I can't remember their name, but I know there were other channels that are toxic. There's a one of a little old dude who breaks all these preppers channel balls, and he makes these comments. That little old homo, he's fucking toxic. That's a toxic dude. But I wouldn't go out there to say that those two are. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of them. I still wouldn't call him that. You know, a little heavy-handed, but whatever. He still pays monthly. But and you know, like I said, I'm trying to be fair. I'm not trying to be a complete asshole. I am an asshole, but I'm trying not to be a complete asshole. You know. But anyway, all of this stuff going, and so when this happened in the city, by the way, it seemed like the city was flipping out. I think people thought that initially it was, you know, a device, and then when they got there, they smelled the gas in the air, and like, oh, that was a gas leak, and the gas leak had to have taken a couple days to build up, and I guess somebody's machinery went off in the basement. That hole you saw, not hole, but that doorway you saw, probably leaked in there, and kaboom, it was off to the races. No pun intended. But anyway, guys, so everything that's going on, right? This dangerous feeling that we have, and again, it seems like every month, about every day, it seems like it's getting stronger, right? There's a slight buildup in the back of your head, like something doesn't seem right. Something seems really off. And then you turn the news on and you see all of these things going on. You see endless amount of violence. You see people committing crimes that I'm like, they were never going to get away with it. So why did they attempt this crime? Nonetheless, they did. And they're getting caught. And then when they get caught, they're sitting there going, oh my God, I didn't mean to. For example, I watched a video of a guy who gets pulled over. He gets pulled over. He gives his ID to the cops. And for some weird reason, he takes off. The cop's like, he's running. And I'm looking at the video like, is he running? What the hell's going on? So he takes off. Long short of it, he winds up crashing. Now, keep in mind, his wife was in the back seat with a kid. Two kids in the back seat and the wife. This guy hits something, goes airborne, and the wife goes from the back seat to outside of the car. Mangled. She was alive at the scene because she was still breathing. By the time she got to the hospital, she passed away. The next scene is the husband in the courtroom crying about, I wish I could take this back, and all this other bullshit, whatever. The whole song and dance, woe was me. You know, I regret it. He wound up doing 10 years. Or he's getting 10 years. He's probably going to do 5. But now he has to answer to his kids for killing his wife while he was drunk. And I'm like, and it's dumb shit. And that's not like, that wasn't intentional. It was dumb. But his judgment, like running from the cops. Now I watched another video, and this video is old. This video happened a few years ago, and some of you seen this one, where the guy beats up the state trooper or the cop on the side of the road, and then he goes, I can't get arrested. He goes, I can't go to, his daughter's standing outside. He rushes the cop, gives her a couple of haymakers to the face, turns to the daughter, goes, I can't go back to jail. And he gets, I think 15 years or 20 years or something like that. And I go, you did all of that so you wouldn't go to jail, and now you're going to jail for way longer than you would have had he just gone to jail in the beginning of that whole car stop. Because for whatever reason, he didn't have a license, and I think he was going to go to jail on that because he was like on parole. He would have did a couple more months. Now the guy went from doing a couple months to a few years. By the time he gets out, his kids will be adults. So kids will probably, his daughter will probably be in her 30s by the time he gets out. And I'm just like, what the hell, right? So the second story, I think I told you about the first story, with the couple getting shot. Did I mention that? I don't think I did. I talked about it in the midweek report. I told my son's mother that just like a few minutes ago. So maybe I didn't. I don't know. But I'll go over it again because I'm pretty sure I did. Anyway, so a couple winds up getting murked, right? And here's the story goes: a 61-year-old man said he was messing around. Nope. All right. Said he was messing around with a 34-year-old or 31-year-old, whatever it was. Now the lady was pretty cute. The old man wasn't. So he tells the cops that they had an affair because she was married. He wanted her to leave the husband, and she said no. Now, when I saw the picture of this guy, I go, no, not this cutie pie and this 61-year-old dry leather of a man. All right. She says, no, I'm not leaving my husband. I can't leave my husband. I also have a kid with him. And he decides to abduct all three of them. The guy, the 61-year-old. He abducts all three of them. And he winds up pulling a bullet in both of their heads. I'm pretty sure he had them plead for their lives. So he murks both of them. The cops find him with the woman's body. I think he was going to have, I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to go there. But no, reverse that. Found him with the husband's body, later finds the female's body, and then they find the kid in the lake. The guy threw the kid in the lake like he was garbage, discarded the kid. And it was muddy lake, right? So the kid wasn't getting out of there, even if the kid knew how to swim. And the kid was 3 or 4, I think. And so, anyway, the cop goes, well, why didn't you just take the kid to the hospital or a relative? He goes, I didn't want to go to jail. Now you're going to jail for the rest of your life. Like, the decisions people are making are not making sense. It's not computing. People are doing shit, and I'm like, he's going to get caught. And then he gets caught. And the throwing the kid in the lake shit, it was like, he said, yeah, I just threw him in there. And I'm like, just like that, man. And it doesn't make sense. So the whole something being dangerously off, guys, I'm watching people's behavior. It's part of that. It's part of that bad feeling. You're walking by people, at least I am, and there's something not right with a lot of people out there. I can fucking feel it. It's the worst feeling in the world. You walk by somebody and like, this guy feels like a scumbag. I'm like, ugh, feel the scumbaggery on you. You're like, gross, man, you know? And you're just like, what is up with these people? And they just have that scumbaggish aura around them. Scumbaggery, right? And so I'm just getting this feeling, and not from everyone, but from a lot of people. And I'm like, it's like their aura changed. And we're going up against something evil that a lot of us are going to refuse to believe. But something's going on. Because yes, a rip curl, people are losing their humanity. Throwing a kid into a lake because you didn't want to get arrested? Now you're arrested. And now you're going to jail for the rest of your life. Shady J, I believe it is. Prep Boys, I could be. It could be one of my supplements. I don't know. But something is off with the human race. And these stupid ads that are coming over in the chat are super annoying, man. Super annoying. Isn't that some shit? You got commercials that you're trying to avoid on YouTube. Now they're putting it over the chat. It's bizarre, man. Diabolical delusion. Whatever you guys think it is, it's not delusion. Because a lot of the people that I'm sensing are off. Before I get to talk to them, I can sense it. And when I start talking to them, I see it. Or rather, I hear it. Excuse me. Something isn't right. It's just the way people are behaving. Again, another Another couple, no, not a couple, sorry. A guy who's married gets his girlfriend on his chick on the side pregnant, and she decides to have the kid, and the guy's like, we got to talk about this after the kid's born. We got to talk about this. So he takes her to, not takes her, but invites her to like some marshland or some shit. I think this is in Florida. Invites her to some marshland, and what do you think he does next? He puts a bullet in her head. Mid conversation, they're talking about having a kid, and bang, right in the head. Done. Takes the kid, throws the kid into the river, like the kid was nothing. This river is infested with alligators. They never find the kid. They found the mother, not completely intact, but they find her down the river. The kid is completely gone. They're assuming that the alligators got to the kid. So they might find his skull at some point in time, or maybe they won't. Nonetheless, this guy is another one that threw the kid in the water. And I'm like, is this a fucking trend? Is this a trend that's going on? Throwing kids haphazardly into the water because you're discarding them like garbage? Now, the only people who do that are evil people. But these guys have a look of sorrow in their face, and I am wondering if this is possession, and this is what it looks like. And it's not like the movies. It's not scars on their face, barfing fucking, pea soup and head spinning around. I wonder if it's a temporary take over the body where you do some irrational shit, and then when that spirit is gone, you're like, shit, what the fuck did I do? You did all of it, but you're not going to explain yourself to somebody that you will possibly possess. Because it's the look in their face after they get caught, which is bizarre. It's like they're sorry for what they did. But again, something is off. You got an 11-year-old girl in Queens or Brooklyn the other day. She got pummeled and jumped for no reason. At least that's the story that's being told. It was unprovoked. She got beat up while walking a dog, minding her fucking business. They beat her up. Something is wrong. It's something is not making sense. And we all have intrusive thoughts. You don't act on it. That's the other thing. People are acting on it. It's not making sense. Something is definitely off with the human race. And this is not just here in the United States. This is worldwide. But I'm talking about the United States because these are a lot of the stories that I am reading. And I'm just so happening to read these stories. You know? Um, RW, I concur, man. It's definitely the arm ticket. It's definitely the arm ticket. So an article just popped up over my screen, at least the title of the article. The Bronx building, a lot of residents are scared to move back into the building. I would be too, at least if I was a G apartment. If I was on the other end of the building, I wouldn't worry about it. If I was in the G apartment, I'd be waking up every night like, oh my God, is that a crack in my wall? Like every night. Because they're right by it. And obviously they did the engineering testing and all that shit. It should be safe. But nonetheless, people are scared to move back in that building. I just got a notification on that. That was pretty interesting. Um, yeah, people are out of their minds, losing their shit. The kids are running into stores and ransacking stores like they're not going to get caught. People are dumping bodies in the weirdest spots and not even attempting to bury them. They're getting caught. People are going after their exes, if you will, and putting them away forever in the middle of the street in front of hundreds of cameras. They're getting caught. And it's mind-boggling to me, man, that you would off somebody because they don't want to be with you. That's a yo. There is no vagina on this planet that is worth going to jail. Not one. Not even Halle Berry. There is not one chick on this planet that is worth losing your freedom for the rest of your life. Not one. I do not understand why people are doing this. It's just out of control. Guys are I watched a video of a guy arguing with his girlfriend in a parking lot, and she was like getting in his face, and I think she saw the gun because then she started backing away from him, but he had not pulled it out yet. And then he pulled it out and he kept chasing her around the lot with it. But he was like, yeah, what if I do it? What if I do it? And I think he was hyping himself up, but he was just like, yeah, yeah, what if I? What if, he's chasing him around the parking lot, and then you hear somebody. I don't know if it was a cameraman or off camera, but somebody's like, "No, man, don't do it." Don't, from a long distance away. Don't do that, man. Put it away. Put it away. And then and she's like, "Stop it, stop!" And she's like she's Neo in the Matrix. She's like, he didn't even shoot yet. She's doing all this shit, and she's like, "Stop!" And then he fucking let her have it. Bang, bang, bang. And then she fell, hit her 2 more times, turned around at the cameraman, and walked away. Didn't run. Didn't hightail it out of there. Walked, shoving this thing back in his fucking pants. And I'm like, he's going to jail. And of course, he got caught an hour later. And here's the other thing. I'm not rooting for criminals. I'm not rooting for criminals at all. But if you commit a crime like that, your next step should be in the car to Mexico or Canada. Done. But these guys are staying in the neighborhood. They're not even going to another state. Staying in the neighborhood. It's fucking bizarre, man. Suicides are way up, man. Too many people are offering themselves. I'm watching too many videos of content creators talking about how they lost their friends. One guy that I follow, it's GFC is his acronym. It's Get Fuck Cunts, right? This guy, following him, and he did a video where he talked about his buddy offing himself. I think that was his second friend that offed himself. I think, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? People are taking the fucking the easy road out. I'm like, it's not making sense. And obviously, everything goes back to me thinking about my son. I'm like, something is not making sense. My brother was analyzing what my son did, and he goes, it don't make sense. This kid was trying to get on the fire department and doing all of the steps it took to get to the fire department just for him to turn around one day and go, I had enough. Didn't make sense, right? And so a lot of people who are offering themselves, it is not making sense. There are some people you can see and go, yeah, I can see that. I can see why. He was depressed. He was this. But a lot of people, man, it's just not making any sense. And everybody's trying to ask a question as to why this is happening. I don't know. But like I said, there's a lot of content creators that are talking about how they lost a friend or a loved one to that. Whatever. Scuba Steve, thank you. But yeah, it's Weston. I believe so, man. I definitely believe so. Listen, I don't. The suicide thing, obviously, it gets to me because it's a personal thing. But the amount it's going up, it's alarming. It's alarming. It's one of the most alarming things I've seen in a long time. And they're trying to sit there and blame social media. Like, oh, well, social media, people can't be like their idols, so they're taking the easy road out. And they're not saying that. I'm just, I'm just saying that that's like what they're announcing. They're announcing all these people just all of a sudden, like, had enough. I don't know. I blame the on ticket for that. That's for sure. That's what I thought. For the doggies, I think I have Sunday off, so I should be doing a Sunday night angry film critique. We're going to talk about some 80 films and how the movie could have ended faster, right? That's going to be the plot. Like, I'm going to go through a bunch of movies and how we could have ended the movie in 10 minutes. And this is something my brother and I always did. We would watch a movie and go, well, if he didn't do this, the movie would have been over in 10 minutes. So we're trying to, so I'm now working on shortening movies by like 1 or 2 steps that they would have taken or not taken and extended the movie. And then I also want to go over the ridiculous storylines and or action sequences in a lot of movies, like Action Jackson. Great movie, horrible movie, but still great. Bad stunts and the whole, Jericho Jackson shit. Horrible movie. Vanity, hottest thing. Carl Weathers sucked as an action film. His best action role was The Predator, if that, right? But anyway, Fame what? First, last. I'm not doing Fame. I'm not talking about Fame. Fame was gay. All those people fucking dancing and shit. Everything was a dance. Everything in fucking Fame was a dance. You gonna go to lunch? I'm gonna go to lunch. And they start breakdancing and shit. It was like a bad version of Breaking, or a longer version of Breaking, because they chopped it into episodes, right? Hey man, you going home? And they're like, yeah, I'm going home. And they start fucking, fucking chopping it up. I'm like, what is going on here? They in lunchtime, they're on the fucking lunch tables dancing and fuck out of here. It's right up there with Breaking. Breaking was just even worse. Because when they got into like, you think you're bad? And I'm like, oh no. No, this is not happening. And they start fucking yelling at each other. We're gonna have a dance off. You know how gay that sounds in 2025? Like now that I'm a grown man, I'm like, Breaking 2 was completely gay, and Fame, ultra gay. Ultra super duper uber gay. It doesn't top that. But anyway, Travis Decker's remains were so gone that they can't do an autopsy. Who is Travis Decker again? Thomas 101. Remind me. There are too many names being thrown out there. Yes, Thomas 101. I remember that guy. Yes, they found another guy. Thank you. This is a guy who, if I'm not mistaken, was a military vet. Travis Decker was a military vet. He had suffered psych issues, as they were saying, PTSD, and he took his three daughters on a camping trip. Keep in mind, he didn't have an apartment. I think he lived on campgrounds or something. The mother dropped them off, and he wound up offing all three of his daughters. Listen, again, um, I know what it's like to lose a kid, but to lose all three of your kids to a psychologically damaged husband or ex-husband, that is the most traumatizing shit you're probably ever going to go through. Because I know what the mother's doing right now. This mother is sitting home and second guessing everything she did leading up to her kids being passed away. So now, yes, they find Travis Decker's remains, and apparently animals picked them apart. Apparently, animals picked him apart. He offed himself in the woods, and the animals had at his body, and there was like barely nothing left. I think what they found was skull and some femur bones and some shit like that, or a rib cage in the skull. It was something weird, but still, offing your kids because you can't hack it. I don't know, man. Again, the major acts of violence have increased. There are more people offing their families now than there were 5, 10, 20 years ago. 10 years ago, you heard it here and there. 5 years ago, you heard it here and there. Now, just about every week, somebody is offing their kids or throwing them off a cliff or off a bridge into a fucking lake or alligator infested water because they didn't want them. Ed Lee, somebody had. I thank you for bringing it up. Ed Lee's comment. I think it was on Rumble. No, it was on here. Sorry, so it was on Facebook. YouTube. He says that I just watched the movie Him. It's rumored to expose the real secrets of rituals in sports, pro sports. I'd take that a step ahead, Ed Lee. I think that is the rituals for Hollywood actors. I would almost bet my bottom dollar that that's what Hollywood actors go through to make it big. Look at The Rock. They're like The Rock lost all of that weight for his movie role. He looked sicker. A week difference or 2 week difference. They had a picture of him looking all thinned out and shit and skinnied out. And a week late, 2 weeks later, there was another photo of him looking skinnier. That's a ritual. You know who else did it? Dave Baptiste did it too. Saw the weight he lost, no muscle mass, looking like half a homo. Yo, it's a ritual. NFL meets Diddy. Ed Lee, that's what I was thinking when I saw the trailer. Trump won. The name of the movie is called Him. But I think that there's a definite Hollywood ritual going on, and these people are starting to show by a lot of their actions. They're taking, like, look at Arnold Schwarzenegger for an example. That guy never joined the fold. That's why his career died off, right? Because he didn't join the fold. When you join the fold and you do the sacrificial bullshit, you start looking emaciated. You start looking sick. Now, unless, if he's not sick, then it's definitely cancer. Sheila, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. For the doggies, yes, They Lived is a documentary. And Fear Memory. Snake Eyes is a movie. I just watched it the other day. Uh, Interesting comparisons outside of the date. The assassination happened in the same month, September, but in the movie it was September 19th, as they were waiting a tropical storm. The guy that got shot, his name was Kirkland, and the boxer was named Trevor something another. Trevor something the Destroyer, right? Or Tyler. Sorry, Tyler the Destroyer. Excuse me. RW, yes, Mr. C of cancers is exploding as well. We got that on the rise. You have a lot of weird ailments on the rise. And they're trying to blame microplastics, forever chemicals, the air, water, and food. Do any angry film critics on their live? Oh, should I? They Lived. I will do that. I will do They Lived as on an angry film critic. I'm gonna start doing more videos, and then lives to explain longer. But I'm gonna do videos like on Red Dawn. I'm gonna do not a prepper version. I did a prepper version. I'm gonna do a movie version of it. So I have two versions of it. But they are doing I Am Legend 2. I'm a little excited about that. Been waiting for years. Thank God that the movie's coming out before I die. So that's good. And then what you call it? Tomorrow. Something Tomorrow. Live, Repeat, Die. What the hell was that? The Tom Cruise Tomorrow movie. Fuck. Tomorrow, not Tomorrow War, because they are doing a sequel to that too with Chris Pratt. Tomorrow Never Dies. No, that was the original title to it, by the way. Tomorrow Never Dies, and they changed it from that to Live, Die, Repeat, and then they changed the Tomorrow War. Damn, what the fuck's the name of that movie? Edge of Tomorrow. Thank you guys. Edge of Tomorrow. So yeah, the original title was Tomorrow Never Dies. And then they said no. Then they said Edge of Tomorrow. Then they released another title called Live, Die, Repeat. Then they went back to Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat. They are doing an Edge of Tomorrow too. And they had to convince, what's her name, who was being a complete vagina, by the way, into the movie. Because she didn't want anything, Emily Blunt, she didn't want to do it because the first time she had a problem doing Edge of Tomorrow because the suit was so heavy and she was being a complete bitch. So they talked her into doing the sequel. So can't wait for that. That should be really cool. And Tom Cruise obviously has his writers involved, so that movie's going to be good. I am still a movie head, man. I'm all about movies. I love movies. I will find time to fucking squeeze a movie in there. Sheila Radler, she's #1 crown, huh? Nice. Eyes Wide Shut, Clockwork Orange. Tomorrow War was excellent. I'm dying to see how they do the sequel. I'm really dying to see how they do the sequel. I'm sort of in on that, man. Tomorrow Never Dies is a it's a 007 movie, and maybe that's why they didn't go with that title, Lost, because it was a 007 movie, and I did forget about that. But that was the original title. It went through like 3 or 4 title changes, right? And then now it's Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat. So I actually have the DVD. Maybe I don't. There's a DVD that says Live, Die, Repeat. And then it's Edge of Tomorrow underneath it. Then they reversed it, and then it's Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat. Brazil. I didn't like that movie. I did not like that movie, Brazil. And it was in 1984 or 1985, right? Who still has a VCR? I think I do. I think I have a VCR around here somewhere. Pretty sure I have one around here somewhere. I still have VHS tapes. Sleepers, highly underrated movie. Sleepers was good. Lone Wolf. Sleeper wasn't bad. But anyway, guys, before we go off the air, 10 minutes, I want to read you this last weirdo story. This is a very weird story. People were getting scared and nervous when they were watching these men do what they did on a plane. So now, in Milan, Italy, a passenger plane, was diverted after 2 men began to act erratically around 15 minutes into the flight. Plane takes off. They look there. We're 15 minutes in. Let's start acting like weirdos. All right. So according to the news, or the View from the wing, I don't know what the hell that is, Arrived flight FR8718 from Milan, Italy to London was diverted to airport, Paris airport after two passengers were destroying their passports. A passenger who was aboard the flight spoke with the Daily Star, describing the incident as the scariest 15 minutes of my life. Whatever, man. 15. This is the beta male shit we're dealing with. Watching two guys destroy their passport was the scariest 15 minutes of your life. Anyway, staff were notified and went to see what was going on at the front of the plane. Suddenly, the whole mood changed. No one on board knew what was going on. These people were acting weird, a traveler said. According to the reports, one man began ripping out the pages of his passport and eating them, while the second man rushed to the lavatory bathroom and tried to flush his passport down the toilet, which caused other passengers to freak out. The New York Post reported that the flight attendant knocked on the lavatory door and pleaded for the man to come out, which led to more intensity, amongst the passengers. As per the Post, the pilot made the decision to divert the flight to Paris, and upon arrival, French law enforcement boarded the aircraft and arrested both men. The video posted on Facebook on September 29th purportedly showed the arrest, not the incident. After diverting to France, the rest of the passengers continued on to London, where reportedly compensated by Ryanair, per View from the Wing. I guess that's a news agency about airlines. When speaking with the Star, an anonymous passenger praised Ryanair for handling the situation calmly. It was really stressful, but Ryanair handled it amazingly. This sounds like someone gay. There's no way I'm watching two guys do this and I'm gonna get stressed out. I'm gonna look at them and go, "That's fucking weird," and then like mind my business. Now, as long as they don't do anything outside of that, I don't care. Have your passport as a meal. Put some barbecue sauce and Worcestershire sauce on it, or whatever they call it. Put that on it and eat it in your glory. I don't give a shit. But to say that that was the most stressful time of your life, or the 15 minutes, yeah, you're half a homo, dude. That's pretty much where it is. I've never seen such, gayness in one article. It was the worst 15 minutes of my life. They were eating their passport. If they were eating people, I would be really concerned. If they started eating their seats, maybe I would be concerned. But eating their passports, grow up. They were hungry. They were hungry. They were like, "When's the snacks coming out? No snacks? Let's eat our passports." And everybody has a passport, or most people have a passport. You know what it's like to try to eat that shit? The guy was swallowing his passport. That raises red flags. Now the French government has them. The French government, like, why would you do this? You could have had a baguette and a croissant. We would have fed that to you. Instead, you ate your passports and you're raising questions in our brain. Why did you do this? This is going to have them under the radar more than anything else in the world. I don't understand why, what that purpose was. But that is very weirdo, retarded shit. The world is falling apart, guys. The world is falling apart. And we're watching it in real time, right? And I've never seen anything like this. I've never heard of a lot of the shit what's going on. Scuba Steve said, "Whatever happened to those old school gays, the ones at the Stonewall NYC? I don't know. Died of AIDS? I don't know. That's a weird question to ask. But those guys were tough. That is the thing. Like, the old school gays, those guys were like tough as nails. They didn't handle this shit. You said something to them, they got in a fighting stance. Whether they were going to win or fight was irrelevant. They were fighting you. They didn't care. These guys now, they run away flapping their hands like fairies. I'm like, what is going on? Stand your ground, man. Fight. They don't want to do that. So this guy's eating his passport, and now he's scared. I never seen such a thing. I'm terrified. Of what? The guy was eating his fucking passport, man. He wasn't eating like people or a small child. Whatever. First lady, yes, they kick you ass. I like that language, by the way. They kick you ass. Two dudes on the scene. Betty. It could have been right. Yeah, Betty. That's a good one. Good point. She said two guys on the same drugs. Could have been. They could have looked at their passport and thought it was a steak dinner. Oh my God, is that a Wagyu steak? And they could have been flipping out. But the other guy was trying to flush it down the toilet. So I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he was a vegan and he thought he saw a Wagyu steak and ran to try to flush it. Base, thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it as always. Yeah, guys, listen, the world is falling apart. The amount of nonsense that's going on. Some of these stories just bother me, especially when it comes to the kids. Like throwing a kid away like they're garbage, throwing him into a lake and just going, sink or swim. That's bizarre, man. That is the most bizarre shit I've ever seen. Cobalt, I saw Extinction. That was a good movie. It was a good movie. Oh, by the way, I was watching another Charlie Kirk conspiracy theory video. I had to talk about this because the guy who was talking in a video, if I could wrap my hand around his neck, I would. But anyway, the video goes, he goes, look, he's slowing the video down. He's analyzing the video. He's analyzing frame by frame. And in the part where Charlie gets shot and he jolts back like this, he goes, look, his mouth disappeared. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Is he serious? He's like, look, his mouth is gone. His face looks like it's about to vanish. And he frame by frames it. And Charlie makes that messed up face. And he goes, look, his mouth is gone, and you can still see his eyes, and his nose starts to disappear. It's a hologram. I'm like, this fucking guy. I was like, if I could track him down, I would. That's a beating that needs to happen. Because most people who film on their phones, they film in 24 frames per second. When you film at 24 frames per second and you have something that fast happen, the images are too slow to pick up that fast speed. You have to record at 60 frames or 100 or 120 frames per second. Most people, their phone settings at 24 frames per second. So whenever something that fast happens and you jolt like that, it blurs. You're not disappearing, you're blurring. But when this guy said that, I was like, this guy is a moron, a retard. He won I Am Sam retard. Like, not even Rain Man. And then you got Obu saying it was AI, deepfake, or hologram. You're a moron. Again, anybody who's the hologram and AI, deepfake in real time, you're an idiot. Do me a favor. Go walk off the flat earth plane, please. Because that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. People watch this guy bleed out and go, oh, it was a hologram. Explain the chair going through objects. The chair didn't go through anybody's object. Gee, I watched that video. You know what? I'm not gonna engage. The amount of stupidity that comes out of people is insane. Thank you, Rhonda, for the 1 minute heads up. Anyway, before I turn into a fucking hologram and become an industry plant, I'm gonna see you guys next week for the double header. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'll see the rest of you guys on the Angry Truth channel for the Is Candace Owens in Danger? She's been dropping some hammers, and she dropped a big hammer yesterday and today. We're going to discuss it later. Other than that, guys, thank you for joining me as per usual. I should be on next Tuesday. Give me a second. Let's go. Yes, I should be on next Tuesday night, but not next Thursday night. I'm going to have to work something out. But other than that, guys, thank you as always. I appreciate it. I appreciate the donation. And Boo, you're another idiot that thinks the Trade Center didn't come down plane. Do me a favor, eat a long dick sideways. I'll see the rest of you guys later. Bye.